Now, just a little warning before we begin. There will be major spoilers in this video for the 3rd episode of Willow, so if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want anything ruined, really good time to click away. Alright, so what did you think of episode 3 of Willow?
I think I've been trying really hard to love this show because it is my childhood. I loved Willow. But this show is falling downhill. And I'm not happy about it at all.
No, you had that look in your face I did after I saw The Last Jedi. I kind of thought, I really want to like this, but I'm not really liking it.
I know, part of my brain still fights for it. Like, we can't let it go.
No, I understand that. You even said after the show, it's like, why?
Why did they do this to my childhood? Why are they taking legacy characters and destroying them for me?
I don't think this was a show that should have ever been made. I don't know that there was, and I mean no disrespect to the huge Willow fan in the room here. I don't know that like Willow was ever thought of as something that like, oh, everybody loves Willow. It's kind of that other Lucasfilm project. That's how I've always kind of seen it.
Well, it was a little weird in Willow that they have a prophecy that this child needs to survive. She's going to be an empress, and she was going to usher in this age of peace and happiness and defeat darkness. But we never saw her do any of that. We saw her life preserved was all we saw.
Yeah.
And then it ended. It was like, well good on you.
Just assumed, right?
Assumed things would go to plan now because Willow protected the child, and Saoirse took up the mantle of I will protect Elora Danan.
Yeah. And hide her in the kitchen.
Yeah. Because she wouldn't have been safer in the Elwyn village. I think she would have been safer in the Elwyn village.
You think so? But Willow only has limited magic, apparently.
I don't even want to get into that, but we have to get into that. All right. Episode 2, I think it was, let's say? Or
1 or 2.
1 or 2? I don't remember. I think it was 2.
Yeah.
He has this big rant with Saoirse, and then he tells it later to Elora that if you don't use your magic, it will dry up and you can't use it anymore. It'll diminish.
Yep.
And then he doesn't want to use his magic because it will be used up.
It's like a catch-22.
No. But that doesn't make any sense because him refusing and not wanting to do magic, and who knows how long it's been since he's done magic, wouldn't that mean his magic would diminish?
Yes.
He made it sound like it's one of those skills that if you don't practice it now and again, you're going to lose it entirely.
Yeah.
And he's not practicing it because he's going to run out because apparently there is a font and eventually you just run out, which doesn't make any sense because they never talked about that in the original one. The great sorceress Rizal and Shiralindria didn't say anything about, you'll run out of magic sometime. No.
It's like a gas tank.
I like to think, and I thought, magic, they made it seem in the original one that magic runs almost on belief. The Elwyn challenge of which finger is about believing in yourself.
Yeah.
You pick your own finger. Where does the magic reside? In me. Yeah. It is belief in yourself that seems to fuel it. And as Willow gains confidence throughout there, his magic becomes real. It becomes less chaotic, and he actually accomplishes the things he's meant to with the sparing times he does use magic throughout the show. When he's trying to transform the wizard back into a human, when he eventually fights Bev Morda. This is about belief. And the stronger he believes in himself, the more his magic works.
A good message.
Mm-hmm. And now they've kind of flipped it around. They're like, nah, if you don't use it all the time, it disappears. But you can not use it and store it for when you need it. And I'm like, no, you just contradicted yourself within this show. You could tell me that maybe he doesn't believe in his magic the way he used to, and he's not as strong because of it, and him finding his belief again and his purpose of protecting Elora Danan, I would be like, okay. Maybe just over the years, because Saoirse has been beating him down, like, you're not a real wizard there, Willow. I'd be like...
Why does she sound like an 80-year-old grandma, an angry grandma?
She does now. Then I'd believe that maybe he did lose confidence. Because she was, mean to him all the time. When he tried to... you're not a real wizard, Willow. You're not a real sorcerer, Willow. Maybe eventually that, faltered his own belief in himself, and I could see that then taking a toll on his magic. No, instead they're like, no, he's saving it. What? No! That's not how you made me think magic worked in the first movie. And that bothers me greatly. Like, it wasn't even until Elora Danan got really frustrated and built up emotion, like, this has to work, I believe this works, that she actually made the bush grow.
Yeah.
When she didn't seem to really care what she was doing, yes, nothing happened. It wasn't until
she got frustrated.
She got that frustration. The Graydon came and gave her that speech that he kind of believed in her. It worked. So, you can't have it both ways. You have to tell me how magic works in a straightforward sense, because I need to know. I thought it was belief.
It's almost like this isn't very well written.
Don't even.
It's almost like... Look, I'm kind of neutral about Willow. I watched it as a kid. I liked it as a kid. But it wasn't something that ever, like, stuck with me. I wasn't like, oh, Willow, I would love to see more Willow. It was just, yeah. I was young. It was decent. I watched it. I was somebody just kind of hoping for just a fun adventure, high fantasy type thing. I didn't need it to be, Andor a level of complexity. I just wanted, the good guys, the bad guys, a little bit of intrigue and mystery and all that. I don't know. It doesn't even capture that to me.
Well, they're spending a lot of time doing weird things. Like, they're trying to set up all these side plot points, and I'm not into that. We couldn't just have this episode where we have to track down, they took a Laurel, we're going to fight them, No, instead they, dragged it out this whole time to do weird things. First we have Jade and Kit. Kit, the sad news. You're not as great of a sword fighter as you think you are.
I let you win.
I mean, come on. Girl's going to got into this illustrious... she's going to be a shining knight. She's going to be joining the best of the best knights, and you think you beat her all the time? Come on, I know you're full of yourself, but really?
Wow, it's harsh.
Well,
I'm liking harsh Naboo.
She's the first. It's very, very briefly mentioned. That's why I'm okay with it. She's the first woman who's going off to train to be a shining knight.
Yeah.
But Kit thinks that she's better, because Kit always has to be better and the best at everything.
That's what she thinks. That's her problem. That's her flaw.
Yes, that's her flaw, and I'm okay with that being her flaw. I just don't need the drama from the teens so much. I mean, there's enough drama in there without added drama.
Well, I think the problem is you're taking a concept which is like, oh, we need to save the world again, and Lord, you took a concept that once worked in an hour and a half, 2 hour long movie, and now, as is the problem a lot of the times, when you take a simple concept and you try to make a series out of it, it doesn't work unless you can really develop some interesting characters. I go back to it all the time. Look at Andor. Andor is 12 episodes long. I never once got bored. I know some people do. But then I look at something like Kenobi, which kind of started as a movie, is the idea of a movie. It's 6 episodes. I get bored. You really have to, if you're going to have a long, drawn-out story, if you're going to go long form, you have to make me care about the characters. And right now, I don't really care about the characters in Willow.
They're bloating it with too many characters with too many side stories.
Yeah.
The original Willow, we had the quest. You didn't find out, on the side that, oh, Willow's talking to Mad Morgan because he's had marital problems at the same... No, you don't put that in there. It's one quest.
It's high fantasy. It's
high
fun
fantasy.
Adventure.
You have fun adventure. You have one quest, and people kind of discover themselves along the way. They aren't groping for these weird issues to tackle as well. Like this one we have Kit, who feels like her father abandoned her and wants the whole story about what happened to her father. Oh no, my best friend, who I'm in love with, is going off to be a shining knight, and that's not what I want because I'm selfish. Oh, I'm being forced to a marriage I don't want to be. Who's the main character of this? I mean, you've got a lot of stories revolving around Kit. Then we've got Willow, who's clearly having a crisis of faith, and now he's lost his friend. Then you have Graydon, who I'm sure we'll get a whole episode about whatever's wrong with Graydon. Yeah. Because he seems to love studying things. He loves magic. He's very studious, but he's a disappointment to his father because he's not everything you'd imagine a typical prince to be.
Yeah.
Then you've got Borman.
Like I said in our first review, like the problem with the show, not the problem, I mean, it could work, is that they've taken all the usual tropes of these characters about princes and princesses and knights and war, whatever, high fantasy, and they're trying to flip them on their head. They're trying to, oh, look, it's the prince who needs to be rescued. Oh, it's the prince who is cowardly. Oh, it's the princess who's going to take charge and lead. That, again, I'm not saying it can't work, but it's such an emphasis on trying to, to use the term, subvert your expectations, to kind of shake up the classic tropes that now are, in some cases, considered problematic, that they're focusing so much on that I just don't care. Instead of just focusing on telling a good story, it's like you have to make a point about all of these things.
Mm-hmm. I did like that Borman made fun of the younger generation for not having an attention span. I thought that was
very
funny.
Meta. It's very
He's
meta.
trying to tell us this great story that is important, obviously, because that's the mission that Kit's father went off to and never came back from, finding the Curious and the key, which Borman now has the key. He snuck down in there and he pocketed it and didn't tell anyone.
He's the only character I like so far. He's the only character with actual characterization, too, other than drama.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Borman
fun.
is unapologetically Borman, and I love it.
Yeah, he's the Mad Mardigan villain.
He really is.
Which is unfortunate.
It makes sense, though, being a squire and all that.
I mean, it's so weird that they're focusing so much. I was very curious what they're going to do with Mad Mardigan, because if you don't know Val Kilmer, who played him, serious health issues. I think he wanted to be in the show. Kind of things went wrong. You know, if you've seen Top Gun Maverick, that's kind of the condition he's in. Terrible, all that. But I don't think the show knows what to do with that. With him, it's like they want to leave that door open that maybe Val Kilmer can show up in a future season.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to... Because Borman said if he were alive, he would have come back to Sorsha and his kids.
But he exactly.
Didn't.
Well, they're trying to... the door is open, though, right? We don't know for sure that he's dead. Something could have happen. He could be imprisoned by the crone, or who the hell knows what they're going to do. All I know is that by them wanting to leave that door open, it kind of feels like they're just tarnishing the character.
Right, and you have to be careful because you can't do that to Val Kilmer.
That's just a crappy thing to do to Val Kilmer,
really
right?
It's really crappy, yeah. There's no reason to tarnish the characters from the original. You can't just do that. Sorsha is fine. She hasn't been tarnished. She was always kind of gruff and opinionated. And then she got married to Mad Mardigan and fell in love. And now he's gone, and so she feels a little bit... She's sad. She's going to go back to being like that, and that's fine. They didn't mess her up.
In the first movie, no. And she's kind of a flip of the classic script, too, because she's like a princess, too, that can take charge. But it's not really about that. No one... I mean, it's so funny that we always make a big deal out of, strong female characters when we can go back into the 80s and, that was a strong female character that nobody ever was like...
Hiding in plain sight.
It does feel that way.
Those were my idols as a kid. I loved those strong female characters, the Carrie Fishers.
Because she was also vulnerable, too, right?
Yes.
She falls in love with the hero.
They were still characters. They were still women.
They were still female.
Yes.
Instead of just, throwing male traits onto a female character.
But most of the show was a chase, which resulted in a battle that we were watching the show, unfortunately, in the daytime, so I couldn't make out 90% of it. It's too dark.
It's very dark. It's
too dark. You can't go that dark, because I shouldn't have to crank the colors up on my TV to figure out what the heck is going on. And then there was your favorite scene, I think, when Laura Dannon, in this dark area, because there's dark storm clouds everywhere,
goodness.
And she hops off the horse and runs into the woods, into the sunlight, to... what were you calling them?
I called them the Denim Queens.
The Denim Queens. Ladies out in the woods.
Wearing denim?
Wearing a lot of denim.
I've never seen denim in fantasy before.
Oh my god, did you even see the I can't remember her name, the one that could speak.
I don't remember their names. The Denim
the one
Queens.
who had this, yeah.
There's one could speak, and yeah.
Her pants tied on from the back. The ties to her pants were on the back of the pants.
Oh.
I was like, that's gonna be a problem when you gotta go to the bathroom. Because I'm just saying, if you put the zipper and stuff on the back of my pants, I'm not gonna be comfortable.
Well, maybe she number twos a lot. I don't know.
I don't know either, but a lot of denim. I was really hoping they were going to be a bad guy in disguise, and that's why they didn't follow them into the woods. I'm like, I kept waiting for them, like, these are bad guys. They're just going to capture her. They're going to trick her into following them. They want to use her for something. And they're like, no, I pledge myself to you, Alora. I will do it until death. And I looked at Joy and said, well, she's about to die.
As soon as they did that, you knew they were dead, because at that point it was trying to give consequences to her actions, which is really strange, because at this point Alora Dannon she didn't know who she was, so it's not like she's truly running from her destiny. She's found out 5 minutes ago, so she's scared and confused. It's not like she's known for years and she doesn't want to embrace it. So they're trying to give you this sense of she has consequences for not immediately embracing it and becoming the wizardess who will save us all, or sorceress, or whatever she might be.
But it was funny how long they took to find her in the woods. I mean,
well, they should have just gone to the sunny spot, right?
There was that sunny spot. Why didn't you go to the sunny spot?
Broke and
yeah, I mean, it was right there. Where do you think she went? The sunlight. It was a great place.
Maybe where she goes, the sunlight follows. Yeah. It was just an odd scene. It was so kind of out of place.
It's like they just threw it in there for no reason.
No, they threw it in there, again.
To show her the consequences, yes. But they made the whole scene too long.
They made it long, and they just made it weird, and they made it really predictable. As you said, as soon as they pledged their allegiance, we both looked at each other. You were the one who said it. I gave you credit. You're like, they're dead. And I'm like, yep, they're dead.
They're dead. I'm like, neither one of them's going to make it. I don't care if she barters for the one's life. They're not going to make it.
Yeah, it was going to go one of two ways. Either they're going to be these creepy backwoods people, which is kind of what they're portrayed as.
Yeah.
And they were going to try to abduct her, or whatever they were going to do to her, and then the bad guys were going to come and take them anyway, or they're going to try to sell them to the bad guys and get betrayed. Or they were going to be like, hey, we'll help you, and then we're going to die. It was going to go one of two ways, and it went we're going to help you and get killed away.
And then they went the Harry Potter thing later, during the fight, when she touched him and the skin burned. Like she's surrounded from her dead mother's love. Just like in Harry Potter. You touch... Yeah. Voldemort couldn't touch Harry.
He's the chosen one.
And so is she.
Exactly.
I was like, don't draw too many comparisons to Harry Potter. You got to make your Willow your own thing. But you don't know how magic works.
It's got to do something.
No.
It's been pretty rough.
Like I said, I really, really, really want to like this show. And they can still turn it around. They can. They can still save this. Just hopefully the next episodes aren't so bloated with stuff they don't need. And maybe they can tone down some of these characters a little and give them less going on. Each character has way too much going on.
Too much about the characters, not enough about the adventure.
Yes, the adventure.
Yes.
That's what we care about here.
They're trying to make a character drama out of something that should have been a fun, kind of whimsical adventure.
They advertised it as a fun, whimsical adventure, and then they're like, character drama.
It's like they watched Game of Thrones and were like, well, we need to obviously have these, intricate and detailed and complex characters, but it's Disney Plus, it's Willow, we want to have fun. So they didn't really know, they went like halfway with everything, and it's just turned into nothing. All right, well, that is all we got for you this time. So do take to the comments below. Tell us if you've been watching Willow. Tell us what you think about it, or if you haven't been watching it, and tell us why you haven't been watching it, I guess. Whatever the case may be, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Willow. And until next time, thanks for watching.